Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. The problem with thinking you need money to get women. And the problem is very simple. You don't think enough of yourself. You don't think enough of yourself. Because, at first, I'm going to tell you what. I was going to name this something else. And go into the argument I've had several times talking about men who get women who get sex without spending any money on them. And one of the things I did, because I always get somebody say, well, that's how it was in your day. No, motherfucker. I actually texted several men yesterday, September 11th, 2025, who I knew got women without spending money. And I already knew about them. I said, how many do you know? One of them in particular, I'll shout him out. Cousin T-Tall said he knew about 20 such men. That was just one person. And some said they only knew a few. Some said they met some over the years. And I texted roughly at least 10 guys, at least, maybe a little bit more yesterday. Guys who know me personally right now. I actually know people right now. Anybody who's saying, oh, that's what happened in your day, don't know me. You don't know me. Do you know where I live? If you're going to say that shit, tell me where I live. If you can't say where I live, where I come out at, what I do during the day, shut the fuck up. You some dumbass motherfucker. And I'll look you in your motherfucking eye and say that shit. Damn. That shit get on my nerves. Because I be out here. I'm called the field master for a reason. But just for that question, I actually texted some motherfuckers. I actually texted some dudes that I know. Because they be telling me some stories. And I ain't even asked my sons. I already know because I know my son's cheap as hell. They be getting some women. They don't be spending shit. So, and my son's 23 and 20. Motherfuckers don't know. But my thing was, I was going to do that at first. But then I said, hold up. Why dudes out here spending money anyway? Why are they spending money anyway? Because, look, and it's been said by several content creators who even talk on it. When women deal with a man, well, they generally going to deal with a man for two reasons. One, he got sex appeal. Two, he got money. But if they like only dealing with him because he got money, they using him. He's an ATM. In fact, let's be real about it. When you got women out here cheating on their men, cheating on millionaires, who they be cheating with? They don't cheat with a guy with money. They cheat with a guy who they feel good around. In fact, that's usually a double thing. A double mating standard that women have. They'll get the guy with money to take care of bills or pay for whatever, then cheat with some broke ass dude who don't have shit. It's like the thing about a millionaire's wife cheating with the pool boy. But then I'm gonna tell you what, I thought about that. I was gonna go with that angle, but I've done that. But then I thought about it. If a man think he gotta use money to get women, we ain't even gonna get into thinking women are just acceptable hoes out here. Some guys do. But a man, if he gotta do all that, he don't really think much of himself. Seriously, think about it. If he think the only way he can get a woman to spend time with him, just to spend time, not even to have sex, just to spend time with him, he got to pay money, he don't think much of himself. He got low self-esteem. Because a woman, if she really wants to be around a man, she just want to be around him. He don't have to spend no money. Like I said, I already know from my own experience, but I texted some other dudes yesterday. Like I said, at least 10. Lost count. And they were just giving me some indications. They were talking about their own experiences. Been talking about it. That's how I knew. Shoot, one of the dudes I texted, he had been living in a car for a while, still getting women like crazy. Still getting women like crazy. And he ain't have any money like that. But still getting women like crazy. Because the women wanted to spend time with him. And see, that I thought about that. I said, hold up, that's a bigger issue. Because it's not even the issue of guys seeing women out here as acceptable hoes. Now, you do have some. But even those acceptable hoes, shout out the Pimp guy for that term. We ain't going to use acculturated prostitutes. They will still mess with a guy for free. Shoot, even sex workers, they'll give it to somebody for free. So hold up. Instead of thinking you got money, what are the men doing who getting the shit for free? What are they doing? And it really came down to women really just wanting to be with that particular man. Period. In fact, sometimes women will spend money on that man. Because, as I've said before several times, women want to have sex out here. Women want to be around a man. They want to be in a man's presence. They need to be in a man's energy. That's why you will get some of these older women. They'll get a young boy for his energy. Like when you get these women who are messing with high school students, they teachers and stuff. You gonna tell me that high school student is using money? Think about it. Or these women going on sex vacations. Like I said, everybody's talking about passport bros now, but I was hearing about women going on sex vacations back in the early 1980s. Which means they were doing it before that. They've been doing that. But they just wanted that attention and everything. Or women going to these male exotic dance clubs. They throwing the money at them. What they paying for? They paying for that presence, that energy. Or paying money for gigolos. They paying for it. Or these women getting hobosexuals. These guys don't even have money, anything like that. They moving the men in. See, here's the thing. If a woman really wants to be around a man, all she needs is his presence. Because, see, women need a man's energy. They need that energy. That's what they need men for. They can get their own houses. They can get their own cars. But the one thing that they can't get is a man. And not just his dick, just his presence, just his energy. Women love that. They need to be around that. And if a man has that, he don't have to spend shit. Even if he got money, he can have money. But if she wants to be in his presence, if she wants that energy, if she wants that sex, all he has to do is be there. He don't have to spend one penny. Because one of the dudes I texted yesterday, women just be handing him numbers and all of that shit. And that dude 6 figures. That dude 6 figures. If he watched this, he know who he is. He making 6 figures. Shoot. He might be closing in on $250,000. But women be handing them the phone number. They be checking them out, reckless eyeballing and all of that shit. It's just a reality out there that there are men who getting women without money. And now, you know what, I'll speak for myself. I was getting women, I didn't have money like that. I ain't had money, even if I wanted to spend on them. Now, there was a time I was taking women to some stuff because I was foolishly thinking, I had to spend money and all of that. I was like, no. No, you don't. And in fact, that's what I'm teaching here. Like, if you one of those dudes who think, it just take money, get the fuck off the channel. Seriously. Seriously, dude, that's what I'm teaching. I'm teaching, like, not just getting pussy, but just being that type of man who women just want to be around. Because if you spending money, all you doing is trading a service. That's a business thing. That don't mean anything. And there's plenty of acceptable hoes out there, shout out Pimp God, who will take that money, who will use that man. In fact, what if I said, like, a man could take a woman to, like, some fancy restaurant, one of those Michelin-starred restaurants, and order this big old dinner and dessert. Shoot, probably hors d'oeuvres and all of that, but don't eat all of it. But then take it to some dude living in the hood or trailer park or wherever, poor area, who's sleeping on an air mattress, and bring it to him. Because that's one thing. If women want to be around a man who they really want to be around, they're going to give him shit. They might be buying him clothes or some shit like that. And I know some dudes that say, oh, it's just those bad boys. No. Because the dudes I texted yesterday, none of them would be considered bad boys. Not a single one. Not a single one. Every single one doing something. Every single one got a job, something. And would be considered guys that would be considered like good men. They would be considered good men, but they got what it takes. And no, they all don't look like Chad. They look different. They got a range of body builds and everything. But they have that one thing that women want. They want that energy that women want to be around. And I'm going to tell you what. Part of the reason I was going to do that, because a lot of dudes don't get it. They think money. But then if you think you got to lead with your wallet, you think it's with money, you basically subconsciously saying you ain't shit. If you think you need money to get a woman, you want to get a woman because of who you are. And if you ain't that man yet, if you ain't him yet, then you need to work on yourself. It's just that simple. Because I've run into, every now and then, I run into a woman actually I haven't in a while. I take that back. I haven't in a long time. And it's not obvious. I'm driving around. I don't look like I'm making money. I don't let women, in fact, when I meet women now, just here and there, maybe mostly at the gym, grocery store, wherever, I don't tell them what I do. Shoot, I remember when I was living in my last place, a neighbor, she was like, you know what, I don't know what you do for a living. I said, man, I just do some online stuff. And I left it at that. I could be working from home or something. But these women like talking with me. See, you want to be that person. You want to be that man that women just like being around. They want to talk to. They want to be in his presence. It's not even about the sex. But if you leading with your wallet and trying to tell her how much money you making, you just saying you ain't nothing. That's all you got is the money. And yeah, there's plenty of women who will get with a man with money. But I suggest that man double back home one day. Because that same woman, she'll get with a man without money. Like I said, they'll have that dual mating strategy. They'll get with the man with money, have him pay for everything, and shoot, sometimes even give that money to some other man who ain't paying shit. Have sex with her. I mean, that's very common too. That is extremely common. You get one man paying all this money, that same woman is going to give a man something for free. Even some sex workers will do that. Even some sex workers. Because they want to be in that man's presence. And see, if a man's leaning on his wallet, first of all, what happens? What happens when that money runs out? Because there was somebody, I ain't going to mention his name, he had some fame in aughts, around 2005, that's all I'll say. And he looked like he was doing something, and he got this woman. As soon as he fell on hard times, that woman was ready to go. In fact, he had He had a kid by that woman. And even some people who knew him said, yeah, you better do some paternity testing. Shit. They knew. They knew. Because that kid that kid didn't look shit like him. Didn't look shit like him. He just wanted a kid that badly. Whatever. But he had to use that. If you got to use any type of prop to get a woman, he ain't it. Like in my book, Nice Guys in Place, I talk about masked men. But I also said, and they usually had material and all of that. Because, like, yeah, there's some women out there that go for that material. Or, you know, they'll even go for that status or something. But then women don't like what they see behind the mask. See, you want to be the type of man, no matter what you are, I don't give a fuck what your personality is, what you got going on. A woman she just like you for you. That's it. And if you somebody who's saying, no, that ain't the case, no, it's money or something, you need to look in the goddamn mirror. You need to look in the goddamn mirror, because you ain't shit. Yeah, I said it. You ain't shit. What do you got to offer? Do you want that? Because personally, how can you trust a woman going for you just because you got some status or money? What happens when that status run out? What happens when that money run out? I'm quite sure there are plenty of men out here who might have had money, might have got a woman even married, had some money. Then all of a sudden they got laid off. All of a sudden that business went bad or something. All of a sudden the woman ready to go. That woman went about them. See, you want that woman going to stick with you through thick and thin, who just wants to be around you, who wants to be around that energy. In fact, that's why you got some women, they'll go for a dude who ain't making money like that, who ain't got that much going on, at least monetarily, because they want to be around him. I mean, yes, primarily for sex, but maybe just for his energy or something. And I mean, that's just how it is. That's how it is. That's the type of man you want to build into. Fuck all this other shit. Fuck all this other shit. Because if you thinking it's all about money, you really are saying you don't feel like you shit. You don't feel like it. I don't have to tell you ain't shit. You don't feel like it. Because you don't feel like you good enough. But if you don't feel like you good enough, that means you got low self-esteem. If you got low self-esteem, don't feel like you good enough, why should that woman want you? Because remember what I always say, you got to have, your main relationship got to be about yourself. Before you deal with any woman out here, you got to feel good about yourself. You got to feel good about yourself, what you got to offer. And if a woman don't like it, that particular woman don't like it. Like I always say, there's 4 billion women in this world. All of them ain't gonna like you. All of them ain't gonna like you. Shit. If you got a single, if for a year, if you got a different woman every day, that's still like a drop in the bucket. That's a drop in the ocean. So if you got to be thinking, okay, what do I have? What do I have? What do I have? Yeah. Like I said, my sons be getting women and shit. They don't be spending money. Don't be doing anything. Women be calling them. Coming for them and shit. They don't. I know for a fact they don't spend money. I know for a fact they don't spend any money. They don't even have a concept of it. And you got a lot of men out here. Like I said, anybody who's trying to say some bullshit like, oh, well, that was back in the day. No, motherfucker. I texted people yesterday. I texted several men yesterday. September 11th, 2025. All right? And I was getting answers throughout today. Because don't be acting like this just some old shit. You just ain't, you just got to work on yourself. And if you listen to these guys try to tell you, oh, it's about money, they leading you down the wrong path. That's why so many, if it was only about money, why so many men out here who got money having trouble getting women? If it's only about money. Because like I said, women got their own money, so money don't move women the same way. And now if they acceptable hoes, yeah. But then an acceptable hoe is a problem with them. If they going for a man with some money, and they go for you because you spending some money on them, what's she going to do when somebody who got more money want to spend money on her? What's she going to do? And then even them, they going to mess with a guy who ain't spending shit on them because they want to be around him. You want to be him. You want to be that man that she wants to be around, that's turning her on, that's making her vagina twitch, that's making her feel good, that's bringing a smile to her face. Because anybody can spend money. Shoot, like I said, a third of my consultation clients are women. And they be telling me about some guys taking them out, spending money, and they don't have zero interest in them. In fact, this one woman, we were laughing about one guy. She didn't even notice that he was trying to get with her. He spent money on her, all this shit. She didn't even notice. She was being goofy about it. Because she wasn't feeling him. Knew another woman, she going out with this guy. This guy ain't really do shit for her. He ain't spend a penny on her. She always going over his place. In fact, I've known several women who've done that. And I've known, like I said, and shoot, the guys I texted yesterday, those were just the guys I know now. I've always known some guys like that. But, like I said earlier, you get some guys, they thinking, oh, this ain't happening. No, it ain't happening for you, motherfucker. I'm trying to tell you what's up. And you need to do, all what you need to do is fix yourself up. You need to deal with that. You need to figure that out. You need to be like, you know what? This is what I need to do to get these women. You need to be thinking about, one, that she find you sexually appealing. So you got to deal with your physicality. Then, two, can you have a conversation with them, a good conversation? Like they like your personality. They like being around you. And ultimately, it's about your energy. Because remember, I talked about that physique, charisma, and masculinity. Women want to be around that. Women will, like I said, women will pay to be around a man. They'll pay him. That's where you want to go. If you can't go there, or you don't want to do that, seriously. And like I said, if you ain't down for that, if you think, oh no, I gotta have money, get the fuck off the channel. Seriously, you don't have to be here. I'm gonna tell you now. And if you try to post something, I'm gonna block your ass. Because I don't have time to play. Look, I'm gonna tell you something now. You wanna be a part of my crew, you wanna develop your inner self. If you wanna be like a part of me, you wanna be supporting me, you gotta be about developing who you are. All right? Now, this ain't saying don't make money, because I got a whole money channel for that, but make money for yourself. If you're talking about dealing with a woman, if that woman wants you to take her to all these fancy restaurants or something, she ain't really feeling you. If she wants you to spend all that money, if you got to leave with your wallet, she ain't feeling you. Shoot. She is not feeling you. You want to be that man who a woman just want to be around. Regardless of the situation. Regardless of how much money in your pocket, what you spending on her. And if that woman don't want it, she say, well, you got to do this or that. She's an acceptable hoe. Now, if you still want to deal with her, if you still want to pay, that's on you. But she ain't feeling you. And if you that type who feel like you have to pay, you ain't feeling good about yourself. All right? And like I said, I don't have time for that shit. I want wolves on this channel. I want men who feel good about themselves. Because I'm going to tell you what, that's a big problem with a lot of women now. They need that masculine energy. They need that real masculine energy, not a bunch of guys afraid to talk to them or leading with their wallets. Shoot. Because when you talk to those guys who get women like crazy, lined up, got real rosters, it's because a woman wants to be around them. Understand that, all right? So anyway, as always, check out my Sovereign Man videos tomorrow. Check out my Patreon, because I get deeper into shit. If you want to know how to turn on a woman sexually, really get into it, check out my Patreon. I really get into it there. And then my Sunday video. You know, I don't do car videos on weekends, all right? So anyway, that's all I have. And I mean everything I say, seriously. If you a man, you got to lead with your wallet, you got to spend money. That woman don't really want you. Money, anybody can get money. But you want that woman to be about you. You. Not everybody else. Like I said, anybody can get money. But who are you as an individual? You want that woman to like whatever you like, whatever your plan is, whatever you look like, you built like, whatever. That's the only type of woman you want to deal with. All right? And if you ain't down for that, or you got some issue with that, well, you know what? You need to get help. You need to get help, because you ain't feeling good about yourself. You got low self-esteem if you got to lean on some crutch like that. All right? You want that type of woman. You could be whatever. You just whatever. All right? So anyway, I want y'all to think about that. And I'll get back with y'all next week. In a car video anyway. Anyway, check out my other stuff. Anyway, peace, y'all.